me. If everybody would find a seat, we will begin. Wow, it's great to see so much black and red out there. Well, welcome tonight. My name is Donna Anderson, and I'm honored to be the Alumni Board President. I'm a 1992 graduate, and I do have to tell you that I usually get to attend these events by myself. My husband is coach, and so right now he's coaching somewhere. And when I graduated in 1992, he was also coaching somewhere. It leads me to a lot of good presents, but not many times do I have a date. So I would like to welcome all of you and say thank you for being my dinner companions. All of you, except for one of you. One of you is going to be my very best friend. And how do I know that? Because I found your phone. I found this phone while I was going to change my shoes because this podium's see-through. So I couldn't wear my little cute ones, and I did see that we had a faculty member who broke her toe. And she had on horribly, horribly beautiful shoes that looked like it was painful, and I did see how shoes pop out, so I was so excited for that. But if everyone would please look to see if you have your phone, because I really do have someone's phone. At my table! How does that happen? You gotta tell me a little more than that. She did it! Congratulations! You're the winner! And at my table! Who knew? Well, if you would stand with me as the Northwestern University Singers deliver our national anthem. Please give them one more round of applause. They are under the direction of Mr. Karsten Longhurst, our Director of Choral Services, Studies, and Instructor of Music. The University Singers will continue to share their gifts of song with us later in the evening. Alumni family, students, and friends, welcome to the Spring Alumni Banquet and Reunion 2018. If you haven't been back to campus in a while, I hope that you found that it is wonderful as it was when you left. It really does look nice. And there's so many people to thank, and I do want to thank our alumni board and their office for our event tonight. This doesn't happen in one day, and they work very hard. So thank you all, Skeeter and all of your staff, for providing us with a wonderful day. I'd like to welcome to the podium at this time Northwestern's Associate Vice President for University Relations, Mr. Steve Valencia.
Thank you, Donna. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of President Cunningham and the university community, it is my pleasure to welcome you to Northwestern for our annual Spring Alumni Reunion. President Cunningham sends her regrets for being unable to attend today's events, but she is thrilled that so many alumni and former students have returned home this weekend. Before I begin what would have been President Cunningham's remarks, I want to welcome one of our own who is serving in the governance of Northwestern as a regent for the Regional University System of Oklahoma. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome Regent Jay McDermott. Northwestern is also fortunate to have a graduate serving in the Oklahoma State Senate. Would you please welcome Senator Roland Peterson and his wife Terry. I also want to extend my congratulations to this year's class of distinguished graduates who will be honored tonight. Each of you has contributed to the success and reputation of Northwestern, and we take great pride in celebrating your accomplishments this evening. I will now read from President Cunningham's prepared remarks. 1 year ago, I stood before you and announced the public beginning of the Imagine Northwestern campaign, the first comprehensive campaign in the university's long history. Our goal in numbers was to raise $28 million. Our goal in reality was to create a learning environment that would provide each student with the best possible educational experience and to ensure that Northwestern was well positioned to serve Rangers for generations to come. By all measures, the campaign has been a success. Yes, we are close to meeting our financial goal, but the impact of the campaign goes far beyond dollars raised. Your support allowed us to create the Doctor of Nursing Practice program, which will help improve access to health care across Oklahoma, particularly in rural areas of the state that do not have enough primary care providers. We continue to enhance our academic programs. As you will see in our video in just a couple of minutes, our social work program has set the standard in Oklahoma. I want to recognize Dr. Kylene Rehder, who was recently named Oklahoma's Social Worker of the Year and was honored earlier today as the recipient of the John Sheffield Teacher of the Year Award. Dr. Rehder, would you please stand and allow us to recognize you? Today, we are engaged in robotics, thanks to new lab space provided by donors. The newly created Literacy Center and Early Childhood Education Lab in the School of Education will provide students with real-life classroom experiences. And let me say without hesitation that teacher education graduates from Northwestern are the best prepared in Oklahoma. Truly, this campaign is transforming Northwestern. Thanks to our campaign, more students than ever are receiving private scholarship support from a record number of scholarship endowments. Our students are so grateful for that support, and in many cases, your scholarship contributions make the difference in a student being able to continue attending Northwestern rather than dropping out. Still, too many students are faced with the gut-wrenching decision to quit school because of financial hardship. We cannot allow the dreams of students to die because of a lack of funding. And finally, the Imagine Northwestern campaign has begun the process of renovating our campus. This fall, we expect to begin work on refurbishing the exterior of the Fine Arts Building, the oldest structure on campus. Thanks to a $1 million gift, we will replace every window in the building. And if you've seen the building, it will take all $1 million to replace every window there. A project that will breathe new life into this historic landmark. Capital projects still remain, including the renovation of our campus mall and Herod Hall Auditorium. There are renderings of both projects here this evening for you to see our vision, and they're located just around the corner as you came in. Both projects are critically important to Northwestern, particularly in our student recruitment efforts, and we will need private investment to complete those projects. I will close tonight by expressing my heartfelt gratitude for your support of Northwestern. Each of us understands the influence this special place has had on our lives. It is a place to call home. You see it in Paige Little, a young lady from the big city who has returned to Alva to practice medicine because of her love for a community. And you see it in Luis Chavez, a young man whose dreams of being a marathon runner have captivated a school and community and led him from Beaver all the way to Boston. The story of Northwestern is best told by those who live it every day. So thank you, good night, and ride Rangers ride.
We're very proud of our service learning component of the social work program, our student organization, SWAT. It stands for Social Workers Association of Tomorrow. They do many community projects, one being a compassion and action dignity drive, and they collect hygiene products and we donate them to nonprofit agencies. Another project that we're very proud of is our Print for Prom. It's an annual event where we collect prom dresses year-round, and in March we give away prom dresses for free. And so that is one of our most heartwarming, joyous experiences. And the whole goal of our service learning component is that we don't want students just to talk about helping others in the classroom. We want them to really implement it and learn how to do it and understand the challenges that come with it, the hard work that comes with it, and then the successes that come with it. I am so honored to have received the NASW Social Worker of the Year Award. I'm humbled by it because I know what hardworking, dedicated social workers we have in the state, many that have came from the BSW program at Northwestern. And so to be recognized for the hard work and the dedication and your commitment to social justice is a very proud professional moment for myself. One of the greatest achievements in social work education is when your students are recognized for their hard work. And so Levi Sanders was also named the Undergraduate Student of the Year. This is the 6th time that our students have received this honor since 2010. And there's no one more deserving than Levi. He is a committed student inside and outside of the classroom. He's been admitted into graduate school at the University of Kansas, where he'll be studying a master's degree in social work, and he's just received a prominent international internship where he'll be studying international social work in Rome. So we're so proud of the social work program because we are able to create these opportunities for our students to really fulfill their true potential as a social worker.
Northwestern's science department is so advanced. For such a small school, it really is advanced, and it challenged me a lot. And I think it really did prepare me for PA school. And it is hard to say that because there was a lot of students that they didn't get that same one-on-one feedback that you do here at Northwestern. And I think it hurt them ultimately. And I don't think that I struggled in that way at all because I had the people there to help and teach me. Northwestern really gave me the confidence, I think, to go out there and, be who I want to be because I had all of that extra time commitment from the teachers themselves, and they gave me that confidence that I can go to whatever school I want and do what I want because they believed in me and they believe in their students. Northwestern, it opened up pathways for me that I don't think would have been opened up anywhere else, especially applying to any sort of graduate level program or anything that's above a bachelor degree. It's hard to get into those programs. I think, coming from a smaller school, it gave me that confidence that I can do this. I don't have to be from a big school to go somewhere else. And my professors told me that. And anybody that I went to school with, they said, you can do this. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to be from OU or OSU or whatever it is. They tell you can do whatever you want. And I think they instilled that confidence in me to do what I can. And ultimately, I decided I wanted to give back to the community. So I came back because this is the place that made me who I am.
Before Boston, I put in 4 marathons and I was still learning the distance, the 26.2 miles it takes. And when it came to Boston, about morning of, it was terrible conditions, 30-degree weather, 20 to 30-mile headwinds. That wind was just blowing right to your face. Constant rain, so not the ideal conditions we marathoners want to run in. I met my wife at a coffee shop and she handed me my phone phone. It was just blowing up with text messages, phone calls, and on Facebook. And I was like, here, I'm gonna look, check it up and see what place I got. And once I got it, I think I'd shed a tear or two, just because, like, wow, my goal was to get top 100, and I got top 50 out of 30,000 people running the Boston Marathon. I wanted to beat the odds. Not many small town kids can say, hey, I ran the Boston Marathon, I finished in such a good placing out of so many people. The community has really bonded with me. They see me running, they honk, they wave, they make sure, they get out the way so I can have room I need. It's always neat them coming into the market and asking and seeing me and saying, hey, how many miles did you run this morning? Did you get out and run? Man, if it's a bad day, they come in and say, let me guess, you were out there running in this 20-degree weather when it's snowing. The people knowing that I'm a runner here in Alva has really made me excited for this town. The community really comes together for no matter what it is, not just for me, but we're into everything. They want to know, they want to make sure they can help out in any way, and they did such a great job. For this trip, they helped me raise over $1,000 just so I wouldn't have to pay out of pocket. The community has really helped, and I thank them a lot for that. Northwestern really helped me become an adult. I came here being an 18-year-old, scared, never been away from my parents, but once I got to meet the coaches, the runners, teachers, all the students, Northwestern really helped me become the person I am, not just running-wise, because you come here as a student-athlete first, not an athlete-student. So knowing that, I had to get a degree, I had to keep up my grades before I could even run or anything. Knowing that Northwestern has gotten me to this point, I know once I'm out there in the real world, I'll be able to know that, hey, I got the right education. The people behind me were there, always there for me. I know that no matter what happens, I can come back here and call it home.
I think you can see that Northwestern becomes a cornerstone for many people to be very successful, and we're very proud of all of our graduates and all of our award winners tonight. We have a very special dinner planned, and it'll be served at your table. We're going to offer the invocation, and it's by Dr. Carol Cook Moore, pastor of the First United Methodist Church here in Alva.
Will you bow your heads and join your hearts in prayer with me? Great and gracious God, we give thanks for this beautiful day, this wonderful institution, and these family and friends, alumni, who we sit around these tables with. We ask your blessing on this food, on our festivities, and on our fellowship. We give thanks for all those who've gone before us, and for the legacy that they have left us, and the great things that Northwestern is doing and will be doing. We pray for the generosity of many, and for the ability to serve this community in all the ways that lead us to a fine life. We give thanks in your holy name. Amen.
Please enjoy your dinner, and we'll be back in just a little bit. Fortunate enough to have a meal here, and it's catered. It's always this quality of a meal. So I'd like to introduce some individuals who prepared it and delivered it to us tonight. The first, show your appreciation for Chartwell, our caterer here at Northwestern, and their colleagues who came up from out of town to support this spectacular dinner. I want to recognize our students also, our athletes, from the soccer, volleyball, football, and men's basketball team. Not only did they serve our meals, they came in yesterday to assist with the caterers and dressing the tables. Please show your appreciation to our remarkable student athletes. I was watching, and I could pick the basketball players out. They were tall. I also want to recognize some students who have served to make your day enjoyable. Northwestern Scholarship Ambassadors have given campus tours, transported our guests on golf carts, helped to get your seats tonight, and I'm going to ask each one to stand as I call your name, and then we're going to applaud at the end. J.C. Bales. J.C. Cheney Bird. Shaylin Farrington. Sadie Kirkhart, Kevin Cosper. Yay, Kevin. Yay, Kevin, you have a fan club. Alex Monsees and J.C. Wells. Thank you. Thank you so much. One of those guys was like, who's this woman running out the back door wanting me to take her to the car to get different shoes? And he did it. Oh, he got me here back on time. Thank you guys so much. They are some of our alumni for tomorrow, and I cannot say enough about each graduating class that we have, but being able to be a part of the alumni board, you really get to see the quality students that become adults and get out into the work world or go on to more education. Northwestern is an amazing place, and I am so proud to be an alumni, and I hope that you are too, and I hope you have a wonderful evening tonight. And right now, I'm going to introduce Macy Malone. She's our Student Senate President, a biology major from Valley Center, Kansas. Macy also serves as Miss Northwestern 2018. Please join me in welcoming Macy Malone.
Good evening, administration, faculty, staff, alumni, and all of my other Ranger family. It is an incredible honor and privilege to speak on behalf of my university tonight. I entered Northwestern Oklahoma State as a transfer student only 2 short years ago, running short on opportunity and finances. I did, however, have Ranger blood running through my veins. My mother was a graduate of NWOSU. As she and my 2 sisters, who also attended school here, urged me to see what Northwestern had to offer, I finally gave in. Northwestern not only opened a door for me, it opened a threshold of opportunity. From the moment that I stepped onto campus, I was welcomed into the Ranger family. Since being here, I have been able to participate in numerous extracurricular activities, including Residence Life, Northwestern Scholar Ambassadors, the University Singers, Student Government, and Miss Northwestern, giving me the chance to represent this university at Miss Oklahoma this summer. While these activities have helped me grow as an individual, they also give me a strong advantage as I enter the workforce. Through academics, my professors have pushed me harder academically and challenged me further intellectually than I ever have been. They have given me the knowledge, skills, and tools I need in order to contribute and be a vital member to society. I can truthfully say that Northwestern Oklahoma State University has shaped me into the intelligent, well-rounded individual that I am today, and I know many others can say the same. I speak for more than just myself when I say that Northwestern has provided all of its students a quality education without being crippled by student loans. We have so many incredible students who have promising futures ahead of them, as well as alumni who have paved the way for us and shown us that a Ranger graduate is an asset in any field. Next week, as the class of 2018 walks across the stage and walks towards their futures, I know that each and every single one will be equipped for whatever may lie ahead. To conclude, I want to thank each one of you who have impacted at least one student at our amazing university by supporting us through our endeavors, whatever they may be. Whether it's through athletics, the arts, academics, or our extracurriculars, we would not be the individuals we are today without your continued support and interest in our success. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, not only from me, but from every student at our university. Ride, Rangers, ride.
Thank you, Macy. You know, I've got to go off script for a minute. I can always tell that it's a great evening. I have got makeup all over my jacket. Skeeter, you've got makeup too? And our local dry cleaners, they're happy. Our wives don't care as long as we stay out of their way. But it has been a great evening. Tonight we have several past outstanding graduates sharing the evening with us. And I will announce their names and ask them to stand and ask you to hold your applause until the end. In the business professional category, we have Jane McDermott, Gary Sackett. In the education category, we have Betsy Izadarozmi, Billy Sackett, Dr. Jim Seeger-Newby, Rodney Duncan, and Tom Fisher. In the humanitarian category, we are joined by Reverend Paul Hardy, John Barton, and Dr. Sheldon Russell. And in the Ranger Recognition category, later named Ranger Spirit, we have Angela Case, Valerie Case, Thelma Crouch, and Stuart Arthurs. Let's give them a hand of applause and appreciation. As mentioned earlier, we had an awards assembly today, and there were several students who are set to graduate this next week, or who graduated in December, and they received various awards which are listed in your program. Some have joined us for dinner tonight, and I would like to ask you to hold your applause as I announce the names and ask them to stand, and please remain standing. Riley Pierce, Sierra McKinnon, Melissa Britt, Trista Watson, Morgan Marks, Barrage Ariel, Jean Bedeau Shimimono, Rachel Davis, Berina Awula Abbey, Blake DeMond, Audrey Estes, Megan Garnett, David Gutierrez, Dana Cossack, Rachel Krause, Aaron Nori, and Osamu Sakamoto. Please give our graduates a round of applause for their accomplishments. An important part of the day was set aside to recognize the honored classes of 1948, 1958, 1968, and 1993. Alumni traveling from Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Texas, and Tennessee were presented their commemorative pins in an earlier ceremony. Our recognition of these honored alumni continues tonight. Our alumni from the class of 1948 were unable to join us tonight, but we heard from several of those classmates who wished all their best for this celebration. Moving forward, will the honored class of 1958 stand and be recognized? Now will the honored class of 1968 stand and be recognized? And finally, we will ask the honored class of 1993 to stand and be recognized. We do not apply a theme to our annual Spring Alumni Reunion. But as I reviewed the names of the past outstanding graduates and then read the attributes and the accomplishments of those we are about to honor tonight, the word legacy came to mind. The legacy of Northwestern Oklahoma State University is strong. It is undeniable, and it is ever growing in definition. As has been done in the past and today, our students, alumni, faculty, staff, and community will continue to enrich the legacy this institution claims. Tonight, we honor individuals whose legacies are a part of Northwestern's. They represent the best of red and black, bearing the legacy of extraordinary accomplishments in their careers and in their personal lives. On behalf of the Northwestern Oklahoma State University Alumni Board, I am very pleased to introduce our 2018 outstanding graduates to you. From Fort Smith, Arkansas to Woodward, Oklahoma, and finally to the campus of Northwestern in Alba, Tim Rundel always had an appreciation for the arts. A speech and drama student, Tim was active on the speech and drama team, Castle Players, Northwestern News, and he even DJ'd for KNSU. He was a member of the Alpha Psi Omega National Theater Honor Society And in 1989, which is perhaps his greatest accomplishment, Tim was crowned Mr. Cinderfella. Tim, there are photos. He recalls how living in Coronado Hall toughened him and his fellow residents. He remembers that the showers in Coronado Hall provided them with either a polar plunge or lobster scalding temperatures. They say variety is the spice of life. But the call to public service pulled him into a different direction. He joined the United States Air Force and the Oklahoma Air National Guard. He has served as assistant city manager for the cities of Midwest City and Yukon, served as the city manager for the city of Auburn, California, and is currently the city manager for the city of Durant, Oklahoma. And yet, Tim's passion for the arts has only grown stronger. As the owner and president of Monkey King Productions, Tim has directed and produced award-winning documentaries. Brother Valentine, a short documentary about 1974 murder in Oklahoma, has won acclaim at several film festivals, and has been screened worldwide. And if you'd like to see Tim's work, Brother Valentine is available on iTunes, Amazon, and Google Play. But you have to be old enough to watch it. I couldn't do that. Tonight, Tim is joined by his wife, Randy, and their daughter, Grace. Please welcome to the stage the 2018 Outstanding Graduate for Arts, Tim Rundel.
Thank you for that introduction, Mr. Allen. It truly is an honor and a privilege to be recognized by my alma mater. When I walked into this campus 30 plus years ago, I had zero idea what kind of degree I was going to get, and I had zero self-confidence in myself. All I knew, and I knew at that time, was I needed to get a college education to break the poverty cycle that had plagued my family for several decades. And how I got started at the art scene here in Northwestern is kind of a bit of a journey in itself, because I had no idea I was going to be getting into this. My journey started actually my senior year of high school in Woodward, Oklahoma. I worked at a Gibson's Discount Center. Do you remember those? I call them kind of like the Diet Walmart. That's kind of what we were. But at Gibson's, we had blue light specials. And the way a blue light special, we had this little cart, we pushed it around, a blue light spun for about 5 minutes, and we had somebody announce that we're trying to move some inventory, and in the next 5 minutes you could get a heck of a deal. One day I was listening to whoever was doing the blue light special over the intercom, and I was kind of goofing on him a little bit, and one of my coworkers said, well, if you think you're so good, why don't you do it? He dared me, and I did. So I went up to the store manager, said, can I do a blue light special? And he said, sure. You know, this is high school, 17-year-old kid, what can I hurt? And I don't remember exactly what I was pushing that day, but I think it sounded, and trust me, I was totally goofing on this. I went, attention Gibson shoppers, for the next 5 minutes on aisle 7, we got a special on Cabbage Patch Kids for $29.95. That's right, you can get Susie a $29.95 Cabbage Patch doll on aisle 7 for the next 5 minutes. And it was a total goof, and I thought, I got it out of my system. Here come the manager. He's making a beeline right for me. I was like, oh crap. I just lost my job, because he knows I was goofing. And he walked up to me and goes, Tim, dang it, that was good. He goes, you're my blue light man. I was like, wow, I thought I was going to get fired, but I just got promoted to blue light man in my department. So I was happy to have that happen. So you fast forward about 3 years. I was kind of a late bloomer. I didn't get started. I graduated in 84, but I really didn't get on campus here until about 87. And so I moved in, as he said, to Coronado Hall. And as he talked about the showers, I was thinking just now, we were a very environmentally conscious campus, because the average shower in Coronado Hall was about 15 seconds. And so we conserved a lot of water back then. So, but I moved into Coronado Hall, started getting acclimated on campus. Really didn't know too many folks from here. I knew a couple of kids from Woodward. But again, I didn't know a whole lot of folks here. And one day I'm walking and I see a poster asking for auditions for the musical Grease. And on the audition, there's a part for DJ, dance DJ. And I was like, hey, I've got that in my repertoire. I'm going to try it. And a friend of mine dared me to do it, and I did it. And I went before Dr. Linda Stewart, and she goes, you're it. You're going to be my dance DJ. I was like, cool. And because I couldn't sing or dance, so I can definitely stand over the mic and be a cheesy DJ. Well, about 2 weeks into it, the actor who was playing Sonny, one of the cool Thunderbird characters, got mad and quit. And Dr. Stewart walked over to me and she goes, Tim, you're my Sonny. And I said, but Dr. Stewart, I don't know how to sing, I don't know how to dance. And she goes, well, neither do I, and you're going to do it. And I said, okay. So I did it, and I did the musical Grease. I think this was in the spring of actually like 88. And I will tell you that I'm probably the best lip syncer that this campus has ever seen, because I did not sing a single note during, don't tell Dr. Stewart, but I didn't sing a single note during the entire performance. But that was kind of the catalyst. That was the bug that I caught that got me heavily involved in the arts. I immediately started taking speech classes. Mr. Barkin, I was talking to him a few moments ago. The first time I took a speech class, my knees were literally knocking because I did not want to get up in front of 30 other kids and give a speech. But I got involved in speech, drama, theater, radio, television, you name it. I was fully engulfed into that here on campus, and it was a great thing. Right after I graduated, I married my college sweetheart at the time, Rhonda Simmons, who's an educator, still is an educator today. Both her parents, Junior and Marge Simmons, were alumni here, and they graduated here from, some of you might know them, both educators as well. Rhonda and I are no longer married. We're married for 17 years, but I do consider her a good friend and a great mother to my children. But the skills that I learned here as far as my communication and leadership that I got involved with Student Government Association kind of propelled me into the sales and marketing that I did in the early 90s. But I then decided to go back to grad school, got a master's degree in public administration, got my first gig in 2001 as the assistant city manager in Yukon, where we were living actually at the time. But the arts never left me. It was still ingrained in me, and I got involved in local theater, indie films, and eventually started making documentary films, which I'll tell you kids in here, if you're wanting to get wealthy, documentary films is not the way to do it. So trust me. So, but it was still my passion. And speaking of the arts, I would be remiss if I didn't say tonight, art is just not for us kind of kooky weirdo guys in college. If you enjoy music, if you enjoy television, if you enjoy going to the movies, performing arts, opera, then you're part of the art scene as well, because you love the arts. The arts in the United States injected over $700 billion into our economy. That's $700 billion, just think about that. How important is the arts in your community? It's very important, so please don't minimize that. And I'm going to give a little spiel here also, because I've had this happen to me firsthand. And we work really hard as artists to produce our art. And so it kind of is discerning to me when I hear people talk about downloading music and movies from unreputable and questionable sites. And I would ask that if you're doing that, to stop. And I'll tell you why. Because as an artist, we put a lot of time and a lot of energy. And you can ask my beautiful wife, Brandy, we put a lot of money into our art as well. And as when we find out that somebody goes, oh yeah, I loved your movie, I loved your music, I downloaded it from blah, 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 and you knowing, well, you downloaded it, but you didn't pay for it, and I put a lot of money and time and energy. Our time is valuable too. So that's just a little PSA I wanted to give tonight. Please, if you went into an art gallery and you saw a beautiful painting, you wouldn't just lift it up off of that and take it with you and say, this is cool, I love it. You would be arrested, and you're stealing art. And that's all I ask is, the next time you tempted to do that, don't do it. So anyway, I want to also kind of plug regional universities while I'm here. I'm now living in Durant. I've become very good friends with Sean Burge, who's the president of Southeastern Oklahoma State University. And I've kind of shared my journey with Sean here at Northwestern. And if you know Sean, he's a very intense person. And he got up into my face one day, and he didn't mean it. He said, I need you to be a champion for regional universities. Do you understand me? And I was like, yes, sir. And that's what I'm here to do also, because as the young lady spoke a few moments ago, I was somebody that came onto this campus with very few means, especially financially. I got 4 years of good university here, and I'm a little bit tongue-tied. Getting my degree here, I think I graduated and I had less than $5,000 worth of student debt when I graduated from here, which is very important for those of you out there also. In closing tonight, I'd like to thank my beautiful wife, Brandy, my daughter, Grace, and my son, Braden. I told my daughter and my son a few years ago that if it wasn't for that musical Grease, neither one of them would be alive today. Because their mother actually went to the performance, and we had a mutual friend, and she told them, that Sonny guy's kind of cute, and an incredible lip syncer, if I may say so. But again, my kids are both heavily involved in the arts as well, which makes me very proud too. My daughter Grace is an incredible artist as well as an aspiring screenwriter, kind of staying in the family business. Our son, Braden, is a very gifted musician and does a lot of his own tracks, and hopeful that someday those things will come to fruition as well. And so I ask in closing tonight that you remember that I'm just literally a poor kid from Woodward, Oklahoma, who got dared at a Gibson store and got dared to try out for a musical. And that began my journey here at Northwestern. And I would also like tonight, this is getting a little bit personal, but I'd like to dedicate this honor tonight to Dr. Linda Stewart. She was more than just my professor, she was my college mom, and I needed her. Dr. Stewart cooked us meals when we were hungry. She consoled us when we were sad, when we had our breakups from our boyfriends and girlfriends, and she was there for us. And one time I got a very bad allergic reaction to something, and I came backstage one day and I was completely broke out in hives. And I was starting to run a fever, and Dr. Stewart said, Tim, you need to go see a doctor. And I said, Doc, I don't have any money, I don't have any insurance, I don't even know a doctor here in town to go to. And she wrote down her name, she goes, go see him right now. I said, Doc, I don't have any money. She says, go see him right now. So I went to the doctor, he gave me a steroid injection, some antibiotics, whatever was needed at the time. And I walked up to the counter and I told the lady, I said, listen, I can make a partial payment today. I get paid in a couple weeks and I'll come back and pay the balance of my bill. And she looked up at me and she said, there is no balance. I walked out to my 1974 Ford LTD, otherwise known as the Love Boat. And I sat there and I started crying because I knew Dr. Stewart had paid my medical bills. She not only taught me how to be an artist, she taught me how to be a decent human being. And we need more of that, especially right now. So in closing, I would like to say thank you to this university for what you've done to me and the person you've created and all the art that you helped create and share with everybody else. Again, thank you for this honor, and Ride Rangers Ride.
This next outstanding graduate is a man of great accomplishment and even greater humility. I met Doyle Hill a few years ago in Florida, and had it not been for his lovely wife, Renee, I would not have known just how much he has done with his life. He just doesn't talk about himself. Uncertain about his scholastic future when he first attended Northwestern, Doyle credits Drs. Anna B. Fisher, J. Lewis Bouchard, and Stearns Rogers for his focus on the sciences, and their encouragement, I believe, has served him well. After graduating from Northwestern in 1968, Doyle went on to earn his master's and his doctorate at Oklahoma State University, graduating at the top of his class. Thank you again, Renee. He wouldn't have told me that. In 1972, he received a National Institutes of Health postdoctoral research grant at Cornell University. Doyle then worked at Eastman Kodak from 1974 to 1994, working on a blood sampling process that would reduce lab costs and gain lab results in a quicker time frame. In 1994, Eastman Kodak decided to get out of the blood sampling business, and Doyle then led the negotiation efforts in a $1 billion divestiture deal with Johnson & Johnson. He successfully negotiated taking all of his 700 employees with him to Johnson & Johnson, along with their savings and investment plans and their benefit packages. Taking care of his colleagues illustrates the leadership character of Doyle Hill. Doyle and Renee have moved to Tulsa, and we hope that this means we will be seeing more of them on our Alva campus. Celebrating with Doyle and Renee tonight are members of their family, including children, grandchildren, a brother, and a sister. Ranger family, please welcome the 2018 Outstanding Graduate for Business Professional, Dr. Doyle Hill.
Thank you very much, John, for that highly exaggerated introduction. Appreciate it, Tom. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'm extremely humbled, grateful, and honored to receive this award tonight. It doesn't seem possible to me that 50 years ago, or 50 years have passed since I graduated here at Northwestern. Some of those people that I've introduced to or been run into today, I may not have recognized you. There are several reasons for that. One, body shapes have changed substantially. Hair colors have changed substantially. The amount of hair on your head has changed substantially. And I probably wouldn't remember anyway. I forget everything. Anyway, I apologize if I didn't recognize you. Along my path, there are many people who helped me toward an educational pathway and a career. First and foremost, my family, and in particular my father, who was a farmer, and he urged me many times to get an education, and once told me, "I don't think you can make it as a farmer." And he was right about that. Secondly, my teachers in high school and professors at Northwestern supported me and pointed me towards science. I enjoyed science. There I found an interest and some comfort, knowing that I somehow slightly comprehended the subject material. So that led me into the scientific field and eventually to a PhD from Oklahoma State University. Finally, Northwestern itself. The university was nearby my home. It was very affordable, and with summer jobs and student loans, I was able to pay for my tuition and room and board. I also came from a very, very poor beginning. The education I received was excellent, and it prepared me for graduate school, postdoctoral work, and the industrial workplace. And I've been successful throughout my career through hard work and the educational foundation that I received here. I never felt at a competitive disadvantage with individuals educated in larger, more prestigious universities or in foreign countries. I want you to know that we have a very, very rare resource here at Northwestern. Students can get a great education here at a reasonable cost. We, as alumni, must protect and nurture this resource so individuals like myself and Tim can create a future for themselves. I want to thank you again for this award. I'm extremely humbled by the honor. I want to introduce my wife, Renee, who's with me here tonight, my son Kyle and his wife, Lanny, my daughter Taylor and her husband Mike, my sister Patricia, and my brother Roger and his wife Jan. My sister-in-law Cindy Pfeiffer Hill, who currently teaches here, and my niece April Ridgway. Our family has deep, deep ties to Northwestern. My late brother Lloyd taught biology here for several years, and his wife Cindy is still teaching here, and I understand very, very beloved here. My sister Pat's husband Gary McLaughlin, and my brother Roger and his wife and Jan, and several nieces and nephews all graduated from Northwestern. And John, I want to thank you for arranging to have the senator sit at my family's table. It's quite an honor. The senator's mother taught me in 3rd grade. And she was one of the best teachers I ever had. So thank you, Ron. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
The outstanding graduate in the education category graduated from Northwestern in 1970 with a business degree. Michael Mitchell then went on to receive his Juris Doctorate from the University of Oklahoma School of Law in 1973. Mike's time at Northwestern is noted for academic and athletic excellence. He was a stand-up player on the Ranger basketball team, and in 2010, Mike was inducted into the Northwestern Sports Hall of Fame. Mike's success as an attorney has provided many accolades during his career, including the Oklahoma Bar Association naming him Outstanding Young Lawyer in 1981. But tonight we honor Mike for what he has done for education. While Mike has not been a teacher in the classroom, his impact on public education in the state of Oklahoma is undeniable. Mike has served the state at all 3 levels of public education. He served as a member of the Oklahoma State Board of Vocational and Technical Education. His excellence to this board was recognized when he received the Oklahoma Vocational Association Distinguished Service Award. Mike also served on the Oklahoma State Board of Education from 1994 to 2000. And during this time, he served on the Governance Committee of the National Association of State Boards of Education. But most recently, Mike served as a regent for the Regional University System of Oklahoma. Mike could not be here with us tonight, so please welcome his daughter, Michaela Williams, who will accept his award as the 2018 Outstanding Graduate in Education.
Those of you who know my dad at all may know that we are both very emotional beings. Tim, I'm so glad you already cried tonight so that when I start crying, it is not going to be a big deal because the tears may come. President Cunningham, staff, family, alumni, and friends, I am so honored to be standing here tonight accepting this honor on behalf of my father. He regrets that he cannot be here tonight to be part of his beloved university's ceremony, but I have come to speak in his behalf. So my father has had 3 loves in his life: my mother, education, and this university. Over the years, my dad has been asked to serve not once, but twice on the State Board of Education. My dad also had an integral role in the creation of VOTEC because he realized that college isn't for every student. There are other places that kids can be successful, that they have a desire to be successful in a different field, in a different way. And he felt it was important to open up those opportunities for those students who knew that college just wasn't on their path. In 2001, my parents moved back to Alba, and they stayed here through 2011. And when they were here, they were always at Northwestern, whether it was at cheering on the football team during football season or right over there in their front row seats in his favorite part, which was cheering on the Ranger basketball team. It was his love of this great university that led him to accept the position to be on the Board of Regents, because he knew how important this university was to him and how important regional universities are to everyone. And so he decided to fight for universities like Northwestern. So on behalf of, and he also, that passion led me to become a teacher as well. So on behalf of my family, my father, I say thank you, Alumni Association, for this honor. And he wouldn't have it any other way. He'd be disappointed if I didn't say, "Ride, Rangers, ride."
The recipient for the Outstanding Graduate in the Humanitarian category exemplifies great character with grace, humor, and hard work. Cynthia Rock came to Northwestern from Mustang, Oklahoma in 1984 and graduated with a degree in natural science. While a student at Northwestern, Cindy was a power to be reckoned with on the court as a member of the Lady Rangers basketball team. She was inducted into the Northwestern Sports Hall of Fame in 2006. While at Northwestern, Cindy earned honors in academics and was active in science adventures. She recalls singing for minnows and darters in the Cimarron River, trying to keep up with Dr. Niswanger, strolling across campus identifying species of trees, and taking Dr. David Boland's chemistry exams. Cindy went on to earn her executive MBA at the University of Chicago in 2006. But the accomplishments of a busy career never ceased. Cindy has worked in the nuclear waste industry for more than 25 years, holding a number of management positions, including waste manager, radioactive waste specialist, project manager, contractor assurance coordinator, and nuclear facilities manager. And in September of this year, Cindy was appointed the Director of Nuclear Waste Management Division at the Argonne National Laboratory in Argonne, Illinois. Simply stated, Cindy is a leader in protecting us and our environment from radioactive waste. She has managed budgets in the 7 and 8 figures. Her leadership on projects have earned her more than a dozen recognitions in her career. And tonight, Cindy is joined at the table by President Joe and other members of her family. Cindy, it is a privilege to honor you tonight with the 2018 Outstanding Graduate Award in the Humanitarian category. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Cynthia Rock.
Hello, everybody. I'd like to start by saying a thank you to the Northwestern Foundation and Alumni Association, especially to John Allen and his support throughout this process. I want to thank Dr. Cunningham and her esteemed staff, many of whom I remember from my days here at Northwestern. I also wanted to recollect just very quickly some of the fond memories that I have at Northwestern Oklahoma State University. I've just been awestruck by the talent and the perseverance of the scientific staff that I worked with when I was a student here at Northwestern. I'd like to recognize Dr. David Boland, my chemistry professor, who is here with us tonight, Dr. Boland, and Dr. Brown, also my chemistry professor, and then a number of professors from the past that aren't here with us. Dr. Vern Powders, who's my anatomy and physiology professor, and my zoology professor. Dr. Dan Shorter, he taught natural history of the vertebrates. And then Dr. Matheson, my physics and physics lab teacher. Also, I want to express a great deal of gratitude to Dr. Neiswanger, who taught genetics and botany. I wanted to really emphasize those professors because throughout my career with the Department of Energy in the nuclear waste industry, I've had to fall back on those fundamental teachings in those sciences almost every step of my career, in every way, shape, and form, and every day. And without this experience that I had at Northwestern, I wouldn't have those capabilities that were developed over time. I also want to recognize my professor in the education department, including Dr. Milton Lear and Billy Stewart and many others. And I want to recognize my coach, Miller Martin. He's my women's basketball coach, and I learned so many wonderful lessons about how to treat people and how to accomplish goals and how to really cherish the people that you're here with every day on this earth. So I wanted to express a great deal of thank you to all of those fine educators. You know, the professionals and friends that I met in the greater Alva community at Alva High School and here at the Sacred Heart Parish, including, you know, an outstanding instructor named Mr. Mike Valenti, who I performed my student teaching under, and then also Stanley and Bernice Van Steenvoort, who were also, he was also an educator here at Northwestern, but I really have fond memories and an affection for them. I had just an outstanding class of individuals that I played basketball with, and also that I rubbed elbows with in the classroom. And I just kind of wanted to say, if I could put a tagline on my experience here at Northwestern, it would be, for me, a great place to compete, learn, and grow. You know, I remember so many experiences at NWOSU. We did sing the Cimarron River, and I did learn how to tell a darter from a minnow, which was kind of a cool thing. I thought everything was minnows before that experience. I also wanted to say that I listened to Milt Lear discuss the big problems that we had in the day. Is teaching a profession, or is it a social work? You know, and we're still struggling, I think, with that even here today, you know, 30 years later. You know, also listening to Dr. Bowen introduce and discuss what problems and proposed solutions we were dealing with in our country with how to handle, you know, nuclear waste and what we could do with nuclear waste and what were some of the constraints and limitations associated with that. So Dr. Bowen really introduced me to that question. And it's really amazing how the things that you contemplated at Northwestern when I was in my 20s are the things that you find yourself, you know, being a solutions provider for, you know, in your 30s, 40s, and 50s. So Northwestern really set a really strong foundation for me, you know, in providing me the tools that I needed to be successful, you know, out in the world. So I did want to put a plug in for my employer. For the last 22 years, I've been employed at America's first national laboratory, Argonne National Laboratory. Argonne's history begins with the splitting of the atom underneath Stagg Field into the University of Chicago. Argonne's early mission was aimed at developing peaceful uses for this new form of energy that was discovered, nuclear energy. Today, Argonne has developed reactor technologies that are found in all the commercial research and defense reactors around the world. Today, Argonne is a multi-program DOE Office of Science laboratory with over 3,200 full-time employees and over 800 PhD scientists and engineers who work to solve some of the most difficult challenges of our time. Argonne operates national user facilities, these large accelerators, which host over 8,200 visiting scientists throughout the year. And Argonne is making advances in understanding the universe that we live in and working with industry partners to advance deployment of the technologies to the marketplace. For example, Argonne recently won the R&D 100 award for this sponge that pulls oil from fresh water and from seawater that can be rinsed out and used again. It's a pretty cool thing. So you wouldn't believe it unless you saw it actually. So it's, and over the last 22 years, I've served in many progressively more responsible roles as mission support for this science and engineering research that's done at Argonne. And during that time, I received my executive MBA from the University of Chicago. I've recently been named Division Director of the Nuclear Waste Management Division. At Argonne, the majority of my career has been named at safely removing radioactive and hazardous waste from the site. An accomplishment that I'm most proud of has involved the progress we have made in removing transuranic waste from our hot cell facilities and shipping it down to the waste isolation pilot plant in Carlsbad, New Mexico. The work was completed in removing bench-scale separation science research liquids and interrogated irradiated fuel test specimens and that work was recognized by the U.S. Department of Energy Secretary as a Secretary Achievement Award. I've worked in teams at Argonne. We have teams that accomplish various projects that go on. And the teams are hazmat and radioactive materials teams. We do work in demolition, in cleanup. And Argonne has a long legacy in nuclear materials, in nuclear science, and we've been working on cleaning up that legacy for my entire career. And in case there's any aspiring Northwestern graduate, there's probably a lot there. You probably could spend another whole career. So there's a lot of work yet to be done in this area across the country. So, I just want to say my degree at Northwestern positioned me well. I was able to ace a natural science test that was being laid out there by the M&O contractor in Las Vegas, the M&O contractor for the Nevada test site. That allowed me to put myself in a position to have an interview, and then, out of 850 candidates, be one of the 12 that actually got the job as a radiation protection technician. I really owe that success to Northwestern. I've already mentioned that I've used those chemistry, physics, and biology education throughout my career to solve some pretty technical and operational challenges to make sure that our teams could safely handle, the nuclear and radioactive material. There's a lot of compliance requirements with nuclear and hazardous materials regulations. The work is really a lot like basketball, being able to develop goals and develop tactics to achieve those goals, and then be successful. So I just kind of want to say yes, Northwestern Oklahoma State University prepared me well, and I'm very, very grateful. And I'd like to thank my husband Joe, who was a Northwestern Oklahoma State graduate in 1989. And I want to thank him for his support and understanding. I've spent a lot of time at work in the last 30 years, and we've raised two really beautiful daughters, Ann and Katie. And without his support, there is no way we could have been as successful as we've been with our two children. I'd like to thank my mother, Connie Garrett. She's been a very successful person in her life, and her career, and she's pretty much been my life coach and professional counselor. I'd like to thank my father, Pat, for his kindness and his example of continuous learning. I'd like to thank my sister, Kathy, for always believing me and putting this amazing opportunity out there for me. And then also my sister, Jenny, who's been our family glue, and my sister, Mary, whose daughter, Caitlin, is here today. And also I want to thank my brothers here, my brother, Tom, who is here with his sons, Matthew and Brendan. My experience at Northwestern Oklahoma State University was wonderful. When I left home, my mom and dad had 6 kids, and I wanted so badly to be able to take care of my own college. And Northwestern provided me that opportunity, and like I said, I've learned and grown, and I was able to compete here, and it really prepared me well for my life's journey. So I'm very grateful to the Alumni Association and very grateful for the experiences that I have had here at Northwestern. So thank you very much, and ride, Rangers ride.
The Ranger Recognition Award recognizes graduates with significant achievements within 10 years of his or her graduation. Tonight's recipient certainly earns her spot on the outstanding graduate roster. Since graduating summa cum laude in 2016 with a major in English and a minor in communications, Natalie Evans has remained busy to improve her community and the lives of others. During her academic career at Northwestern, Natalie was a member of the President's Leadership Class and the Student Government Association. She received the T.C. Carter Award, the John F. Kennedy Award, and was named an Outstanding Senior. Since graduation, she has served as the projects coordinator for Keep Oklahoma Beautiful, has been the program assistant for the Plaza District Association, and just this month is the City of Edmond's newest management analyst. Natalie's community involvement includes board membership with OKC Beautiful MOB Young Professionals, the Young Nonprofit Professionals Network in Oklahoma City, and Enduring Transitions. Natalie also is involved in the Big Brothers, Big Sisters Oklahoma City chapter. Natalie's work with the Keep Oklahoma Beautiful was recognized when she won the Next Gen 30 Under 30 Award for a nonprofit organization. And tonight, Natalie joins her father and her uncle on the Outstanding Graduate Wall of Fame. Celebrating her honor with her, in addition to her family, is her husband, Jordan, also a 2016 Northwestern graduate. Northwestern family, please show your appreciation for the 2018 Outstanding Graduate in the Ranger Recognition category, Natalie Evans.
Thank you so much for this honor. Through my time at Northwestern and the years after, all I've really known that I wanted to do is that I wanted to make a positive impact in the lives of others. I aspire to do this through my career and community involvement. The true genesis of this motivation I now know comes from my time at Northwestern. In the years I was here, I saw consistent examples of kindness and generosity. I bore witness to staff, faculty, and students, always going above and beyond to be a source of positivity and change. I saw kindness when Dr. Cunningham always had her door open to students and staff. I saw generosity when Dr. Armstrong crocheted me a doily for graduation. I saw support and guidance when Dr. Lane and Mrs. Allen helped me edit short stories. I saw patience when Dr. Adams listened to me complain about boring Puritan literature for the millionth time. These people and so many more had such a significant impact on my life. This impact was not limited to my collegiate career, however, as I find myself reflecting on lessons learned at this university almost daily. I'm incredibly honored to be accepting this award, and I'm incredibly honored to be among the other outstanding award recipients. Though I have so much to learn and so much growing to do, I know that if I try each day to be a little bit more like Dr. Cunningham, I'll turn out just fine. Thank you again for this honor.
The Outstanding Graduate for Ranger Spirit distinction recognizes a person for their exceptional support of the university and for their embodiment of Ranger Spirit. Judy Wolgamott lives and breathes Ranger Spirit. While a student at Northwestern, Judy was a member of the Ranger cheerleading squad. She was Ranger Queen in 1964, and she was a member of the Aqua Arena Swim Club for 3 years. And in the profile that she submitted after receiving word of her selection as Outstanding Graduate, she admitted that there were a few activities not suitable for publication and not suitable for public sharing. Judy, campus security would like to see you after the banquet. When I started here a few years ago, Judy was a member of the Northwestern Alumni Board, and immediately I recognized that when others might say why to a new adventure or to a new program, Judy would say, why not? Judy was instrumental in the establishment of the Fallen Rangers Project, which identifies and honors Northwestern students who died while serving their country in the military. And to date, 2 students have been honored with displays in the Student Center Ranger Room. Thank you for that, Judy. Judy's energy for Northwestern has never faded. She remains a cheerleader for everything Ranger. Years ago, Judy established the Rangerlands Friend blog to reconnect and maintain contact with alumni from the 1950s and 1960s. This blog has become an excellent conduit of Northwestern information and alumni updates. Judy Wolgamott is a powerhouse of Ranger pride. In fact, she is, and Judy, I will say this in the nicest way, she is ferocious. So ferocious and so protective of her Northwestern, and we wouldn't want it any other way. Judy is joined tonight by her daughters, other family, and a room full of friends and fans. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2018 Outstanding Graduate for Ranger Spirit, Judy Wolgamott.
Yes. It's hard to follow these academic accolades of these other award winners, but just rank me in the social group. We all have to really give kudos to the Alumni Association and the Foundation for this wonderful event tonight. It's just wonderful. The food was wonderful. The servers did a great job, and they've gone above and beyond expectations. Thank you. Usually, the only times family and close friends gather in one's behalf is when they're getting married or buried. So you see why tonight's so special, because I have my family, my friends, and they're also special to me. I thank you to the selection committee for bestowing this honor on me. Also to my angels in heaven, my mom, my dad, my brother Gary, who I know are all standing on the front row seat of heaven tonight, supporting me. And my mother had to actually force me to go to at least 1 year of college. She said, you have to go at least 1 year. And boy, I'm glad she did. I'd like to introduce my special guests tonight, recognize them because they are my life. My sister-in-law, Sandy Wolgamott, my brother Gary's wife, and today would actually be their wedding anniversary, their 56th wedding anniversary. So she's my special guest. My oldest daughter, Debbie, and her husband, Steve. My youngest daughter, I'm looking for her, Amy, and grandson, Logan, and baby Max, granddaughter, Natasha, and Nicole, and baby Kason. And I thank you all for being here. I love you so much. Hope I didn't leave anybody out. And then my dear friends, my friend and mentor, Dr. Yvonne Carmichael, my special friend, Elizabeth Ritchie, my partner in crime and former roommate, Sharon Borough Pollock, another roommate, Marilyn Dunn Ewing, Estes Park survivor, Claudia Nichols Newman, and my travel partner, Pat Russell, and the two proprietors of the best bed and breakfast in town, Rob and Cece Duncan. Thank y'all. I love you. Okay, I have to explain something before I get started with my little story. I have a story to tell. Now, the word party doesn't always mean imbibing in spirits in my story. It can also mean just being with friends and family and making memories. So keep that in mind. I'm going to begin my story titled Hats I Wore during my Northwestern journey. Let's see what happens. 56 years ago, I entered Northwestern as a green freshman and moved into Oklahoma Hall, girls' dorm, that's no longer even there because it was filled with asbestos, and now it's been torn down and destroyed. So maybe that's why we did some of the things we did over there. But the first hat I remember wearing was a little green beanie. And these green beanies were issued to all the freshmen during freshman orientation week. And there were all kinds of little rules we were supposed to go by, and if we broke the rules, then we had to go to kangaroo court, which they had special little punishments for us, like washing the sidewalk outside the student union with a toothbrush or something. But it was a lot of fun. But this tradition somehow faded sometime before 1965 because some of the people who started in 65 said they don't remember anything about the green beanies. But I guess we were supposed to wear these so we'd stand out as a newbie on campus. Well, it didn't take a green beanie to recognize us as freshmen because we were wandering around lost, where's our class? And asking silly questions like, what's a registrar? Or where is Jesse Dunn? Who's he? Or where's the library? But we made it through. And it only lasted for a week. The one hat I forgot to pack in my bag when I came to Northwestern was my thinking cap, much to my mother's dismay. And the one I definitely brought was my party hat. And I kept this with me all through college. But when my grade point average was so low after my freshman year, my mother threatened to bring me home to live on the farm. I quickly learned one of life's greatest lessons: to balance work and play. So I did get better. Okay, in the second year, wow, things really started rocking in the fall of 1963, because then I was honored of being selected as a Northwestern cheerleader. And of course, we always had our party hats. And I also was selected to be a member of the Aqua Arena Swim Club under the direction of Dr. Carmichael. So for the next 3 years, you'd see me wearing my swim cap quite often. But also, that's also the year I met a guy who would later become my husband and father to my 2 beautiful daughters. I know my children and grandchildren are expecting to hear the story of why my mother and Sharon's mother were invited to campus for a visit with Dean Cullison, and why Sharon and I didn't live in the dorm the next year. But that's a long story, and I think I better not go into that. The third year, the highlight of my third year was, of course, and I was selected and honored as Ranger Homecoming Queen. So I got to don a crown till the next year with more Finally, I learned to balance that work with a little more work, a little less this. And after 5 years, I finally got to wear, because the first year was kind of a loss. So it took me 5 to finally get to wear this in 1967. And again in 1974 when I earned my master's degree. It's piling up back here. Using the excellent education that I received at Northwestern, I went on to teach 29 years in the public school system, Kansas and Oklahoma. My education at Northwestern was such a blessing to me, and the Lord really did guide me to the best place. And He didn't mind this too much. In 2006, I was asked by Liz Ritchie to serve on the Northwestern Alumni Board. And I served on the board for almost 10 years. It was just a great way to reconnect with Northwestern. And I got to ask you, if for some reason you have not joined the Northwestern Alumni Association, please do so. Because with the dues, they're not very much, but all together, if everybody joins, then they support activities and events such as the one we're a part of tonight. They also support many other activities associated with Northwestern and homecoming events and activities in the fall, baseball, hot dogs, and apple pie in the spring. There's always something that they're in support of, and your dues, your membership dues, really does help fund this. So please join. Like John mentioned, one of my Probably dearest things to my heart when I served on the alumni board was recognizing fallen Rangers, those who lost their lives in the line of duty while serving their country. To date, we only have 2. Marine Lieutenant Jerry Bennett from Frederick, Oklahoma. He was graduating class from Northwestern in 1965, and he was killed in action in Vietnam in 1967. We also have Army Ranger Lieutenant Mike Wareheim from Cherokee, Oklahoma. He was in the class of 1975 from Northwestern, and he was killed in a helicopter training exercise at Fort Benning, Georgia in 1976. So anytime you're in the Student Union building, the Ranger Room is available for you to look at. Please pay your respects to these guys for the loss of their life. I mean, they're doing that to protect you and me. And if any of you know of other Ranger alumni who have lost their lives in conflict or in training or military duties, please call John at the alumni office and let him know so they too can be added to our honor roll. To sum up my little story tonight, I'd like to share an excerpt from a poem written by Dr. Yvonne Carmichael that she composed for the Aqua Arena Swim Club reunion in 2010. Quote, "Life has taken us to different places, but this renewing of our common goals has given us some special graces that will never change through years untold. As for my journey, I've learned with my heart sometimes in tatters, it's people, not things that bring rewards. And in the end, that's all that really matters. I urge you all to reconnect, reminisce, and make more memories." And now I have a new hat. I have my Ranger Spirit hat. So, I get pride, Rangers, live and live.
Let's give another round of applause to our 2018 class of outstanding graduates. Skeeter Bird is the Chief Executive Officer of the Northwestern Foundation and Alumni Association, having led the organization since 2005. I speak on behalf of my colleagues that Skeeter is an individual and a leader who expects the best from himself. Good enough is not good enough for Skeeter. And he supports the rest of us in owning the same expectations of ourselves. Please help me welcome to the stage, Skeeter Bird.
John, thank you very much. This will kind of give you a frame of reference of what John and I do for this event, and mainly John. Yesterday we were sitting there, we were talking about, those bags underground. Preparation H has 2 different uses. One of them is the one use that everybody knows about. The other one will take the bags out of the house. That's the only reason he doesn't have any baggage under his eyes right now. John, please stand for a round of applause. You have done an awesome job with this event. It's really loud, I'm clapping, sorry. I get very emotional on 2 different things, and I know this is probably going to be a mistake, but when I talk about students and when I talk about my daughters, it's usually a disaster emotionally, but for some foolish reason I've chosen talk about both of those this evening a little bit. Carol, feel free to pray for me. Tim, you didn't really help you with your presentation. I want to start this evening with a statement I believe to be true and a statistic that I hope surprises you. My belief is education closes the gap to opportunity. The statistics. 32% of our students are still the first generation in their family to attend college. Yes, 1/3 of our kids are the first person in their career to go to school here. Now I'm going to share a personal story that kind of brings this home to me and really hit me in the heart this spring. As part of our stewardship plan, we recently started facilitating dinners with our donors from endowed scholarships along with their students to kind of create that relationship. And I had the opportunity to go to a lunch just this spring with one of our trustees, a personal friend of mine, who started a scholarship at Northwestern. Now, interestingly enough, this donor went to school at Northwestern for 2 years and then transferred to OSU. His kids went to school at OSU, but his family started here, and he and his family never really had much money, but he's done very well for himself. And he feels like if his parents had been around, or still around, this is where they would have invested their funds. And so he gives in their honor every time. So we're sitting at this lunch, and I'm sitting across the table from this young, beautiful young lady, and I realize I know her. I have not seen this young lady in 12 years. But it all started coming back. In 2006, my family and I were feverishly working on finishing our house. It was a summer that will live in infamy in my family's history. I have two of my daughters here, so I'm going to go on record. They can probably counter this later. But I don't see anything wrong with manual labor, with parents besides students, by their parents with children. It's a good lesson. It's a great education. And we're talking about education. So anyway, during this process, we needed a driveway built. And so this student's father agreed to come out and build our driveway. He showed up on a Saturday morning, 2 daughters, I guess probably ages 6 and 8, and they looked as though their mother was out of the picture. They looked like my daughters would look if I were out of the, or if my wife was out of the picture. I have 3 daughters. My eldest is about to be 26, 25, and I still cannot do hair or makeup. These young ladies looked like I had done their hair and makeup. But he explained to me that his wife had recently left them, and he needed to make the money. He had no place to put the girls, so he brought them along for the job while he was doing the job. And so I sent them up to my house to be with my daughters and my wife. They probably learned how to tile and a number of other things. And I proceeded to do the number of projects that I was working on, and I watched him as he started grading. And before we reached about noon, I'd seen him consume 3 or 4 beers. And I'd seen that behavior before in my life, and I remember thinking vividly that these young ladies did not have a chance. Mother out of the picture, father challenged with alcohol. And yet, 12 years later, I'm sitting across from this young lady who is articulate, intelligent, amazing, funny. Her hair looked fabulous too, by the way. And I found out during the discussion this young lady is a straight A student, was valedictorian of her class, and was about to enter the nursing program. In fact, this fall she will enter as a junior in the nursing program. Ladies and gentlemen, this young lady should not have made it. How many of you believe without this community, this university, and our donors, this young lady would be on the path of becoming a nurse? I really don't. You all, I have seen too many times when young people run astray by not having that support. So needless to say, this was a major emotional event for me. It made me realize once again why I do the job that I do and why everyone here at Northwestern does what they do. We make a positive influence on our students, and we influence the outcome. Now, when we say change lives, that is not just a happy catchphrase. We actually change lives. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our nation is devaluing education at a huge scale for reasons I really don't understand. My guess that once you have something that's fabulous, regardless if you're the envy of everyone else, you just take it for granted. Our nation had an education system that was the envy of every other country in the world, and yet we were piece by piece taken apart with continuous reductions in government spending, government funding. But as was mentioned earlier, for Northwestern, throughout these continuous budget cuts, we have had a number of donors step forward and make a difference. We've been allowed to grow and prosper in spite of the budget situation. And this has happened at a local level. Now, I can't speak about what happens at the rest of the world, but I know every one of us could make a small portion and make a dent here locally. And I think eventually others will learn by example. Now, if you'd like to join our cause, I want you to see one of the folks I'm about to introduce. And as I recognize these groups, I ask that you remain standing. If you're a member of the Northwestern senior staff, would you please stand? If you're a member of the Northwestern faculty or staff, please stand. Don? Don't make me call you out. If you're an employee of the Northwestern Foundation Alumni Association, please stand. If you're a current or former board member of the Northwestern Foundation Alumni Association, would you please stand? Now, if you believe in what we're trying to accomplish, would you please give yourselves and those around you a round of applause? And thank you for your service. Now the light part. Most of you think you've had dessert. Well, there's more, but this is going to be a treat for your ears. Last night, my wife got the chance to listen to our choir, and they were amazing. I got to hear it on Facebook, and it was still amazing. You all can start moving to your spots. So under the direction of Mr. soon-to-be Dr. Karsten Longhurst and accompanied by Mrs. Susan Doyle, please help me give a warm welcome to the Northwestern University Singers.
All right, I got permission to ask you to sing with us. So if you look at the back of your program, you're welcome to sing the alma mater with us, and if you don't know it, you can listen to it so next time you can. And then, of course, we know the fight song. So we encourage you to join us in a rousing rendition of Ride, Rangers Ride.
Is that not the best way to cap off this celebration? Thank you again, University Rangers. Let's hear another round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, if you will do us a favor and your name tags, if you'll put them out on the table in front of you, we can use those again at another celebration. This has been a wonderful day and a great evening, and I thank you all for being here tonight. Safe travels back home. Good night and God bless.